with Metal Gear 4 now, they're wrapping up the Snake character, but you've been doing a lot of the prequels that they're bringing. I think there's a prequel and I think there's a sequel with Raiden that they're bringing out. I'm not entirely sure. I can't keep up track with it. How long do you reckon you'll do the voice for? Will there be a time where you say, you know what, that's it, and go on to do something else?
No, there will never be a time when I say I don't want to do it anymore. I mean, every time I've had to do a Metal Gear game, I've been working as a screenwriter on at least 2 movies at a time, and it's always been a huge time crunch, very difficult, but I absolutely love it. And it's like I heard Joe Montana told the makers of The Simpsons that, you know, if Fat Tony so much as sneezes, you let me know and I want to record it. You know, and that's how I feel about Snake. So it's really up to the audience. It's really up to Kojima-san. It's really, it's not up to me. If Snake is doing anything, I want to be the one.
I mean, let's talk about Hideo Kojima. I think that's how you pronounce his name. You didn't meet him until the 4th one, right?
That's right. Yeah, I think we spoke on the phone during the first one briefly, you know, just say hello, and then we sent little things to each other. I sent him a signed Guyver poster, and he sent me a signed Solid Snake figure and stuff like that. But it was really on the 4th one, he came to Los Angeles, and he came into where we were recording, and he had 2 translators with him, and they brought a laptop, and he let me play some of the game. Actually, I think he played the game. He brought up the game and then showed me a bunch of stuff and how it would work. And he, you know, and he showed me, he was so excited about the idea that when you use the Mark III, he said, you know, look at his hands and you see the controller is an actual PSP or a PS3 controller. And so there's all these little details, and, you know, and he's just a brilliant guy, but he's also like a little kid, you know, I mean, which is really how a lot of great artists are. And so it's been nice. So I met him then, and then I saw him again at some video game award thing, and we chatted, and so I've spoken to him a couple of times since then, but yeah, that first 9 years, I didn't see him at all.
When you did meet him, did he try to give you any advice about the character or anything like that? Or does he mainly just let the voice director do that? Or was there anything like that?
No, not to me. I mean, you know, he may, I'm sure he's given a great deal of instruction to the producers of the English language versions and whatever, but I really think that Hideo's focus is on the Japanese game. I think the Japanese game to him is the primary game, and the English game is the English versions. I think I don't know. I can't really speak for him, but this is sort of the impression I've got, that the English language versions are just sort of, you know, a necessary evil if you want to get it out to the rest of the world. Sometimes, you know, some people, Americans, want to hear it in English, and I think it was a bit, I get the sense that it was a bit of a surprise to him that the English language versions caught on as strongly as they did. You know, people really like the English language cast. They really like the Japanese language cast as well, but I think that that's more of his focus than what we're doing.
Well, you also did the remake of the Metal Gear Twin Snakes for the GameCube. How did that all come around?
Well, it's funny. The original game, like I say, the place where it was cast was the place where it was recorded. So it was a little house in Hollywood, you know, just like a house that had been converted into a sound studio. And so it wasn't truly soundproofed. And what happened was the game was designed for the PS1. Well, when the GameCube game was being put together, the GameCube sound system was so much more developed than the original PS1 that now you could hear all the traffic going by in the background of the original recordings.
Well, because of the sound, yeah. So the sound on the GameCube was so much better. So, yeah, so you could hear all that, yeah.
Yeah, it was just a more enhanced system. And so now you could hear people pulling up to the stop sign, which was right past the wall that we were recording at. And, you know, people honking at each other. And, I mean, it's really right in, you know, downtown Hollywood. And so they said, well, we have to re-record the whole game, and which was great because and we went back in and re-recorded the whole thing. But I don't think we didn't re-record Metal Gear 2. So because that had been done on a next generation, I think that was PS2.
Hey, is it true that Paul Eiding said in an interview that is it true that you gave up half your paycheck to get everybody back in?
Yeah, well, there was a discussion about replacing everybody for the sake of economics, and these were all people that I felt had done a great job, and I really wanted to see them come back. And I knew the fans were really attached to them as well, and so I didn't want to see that fall apart because of money. So what I essentially did was I said to Konami, well, look, are you willing to pay me this amount to do the game? And they said yes. And I said, okay, well, then take off this percentage and split that among these, 5 or 6 main actors, and then just pay me less. And then it won't cost you anything more. And so, I gave up some money so that they could come in. I don't think it was 50%. I'm not a dope, but it was a chunk of money. But I mean, it was for the good of the game. I felt good about it then, and I feel good about it now.
Were you nervous at all? Because I know they tried to remake a lot of games, and I don't know if they're really as successful as the originals. They tried it with the first Tomb Raider, and I think it's maybe update people on it and to try and get a new audience who may have not known about that game. Was there any nervousness on your part about, they're remaking the Metal Gear Solid game?
Well, that was my concern in regards to them considering not bringing back the original cast. I was like, I've watched cartoons since I was born, and whenever they would change the voice of, they change the voice of Kermit, or they change the voice of whatever, some iconic character, you always know, no matter how big, no matter how good the replacement is, a 3-year-old kid will know that it's not the same thing. And so my point to Konami was, I was like, Metal Gear is now a huge thing, and if you're going to re-release it and you're going to re-record all the voices, there's going to be maybe a small percentage of people who go, well, that's a knockoff. I said, say you've got 5 kids. I literally said this to them. I said, say you've got 5 kids, and they go over to their friend's house to play the new Metal Gear on the GameCube, and they hear it's not the same voices. Well, what if one of those kids says, that's a knockoff, I'm not going to get it? Well, that's 20% of your profit. Now, the impact wouldn't be that huge in reality, but still, it's an impact that I just think it sort of cheapens things when you say, let's just replace people because it's cheaper. I don't think that's good for the game. And then since then, they've really, to Konami's credit, they've really committed to these actors, and it just creates such a family for the audience to return to. It's nice to hear Jennifer Hale come back as Naomi, or Otacon, Christopher Randolph as Otacon, or Paul Eiding as the Colonel. You just hear the Colonel. Like whenever I run into Paul Eiding, like on the street, or we have the same voiceover agent, I'm just hearing him, I'm like, Colonel, It's just comforting. So that was that.
Oh, it's weird because my little cousin was actually playing the Ben 10 game, which he's actually on.
Oh, yeah.
And it was about like 6:30 in the morning, and I could hear this voice, and I thought, that's not who I think it is it? No, it's not. It's nothing. And then I researched it, and it was. He sounds so much like the Colonel. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, he's got such a distinctive voice, Paul.
I wanted to talk to you about this. There was a great parody that came out a couple of years ago called Metal Gear Awesome, which is it's amazing because you get these parodies that come out of games. A lot of them suck, but then every now and again you get a really, really funny parody. How were you alerted to it, and what is your overall take on it?
It was actually, I can't remember which game we were recording, probably Metal Gear 3. And Chris Zimmerman said, "Oh my God, the voice director for the English language Metal Gear she said, "Oh my God, you got to see this thing, this Metal Gear Awesome. It is hilarious." And so she played it for me on her computer in the studio, and it was hilarious and just beautifully done, and we just thought it was a riot. And so everybody at Metal Gear really appreciated it. And then when it came up